Dear viewer, this video is available in Hindi as well. If you wish to watch it, please visit our Hindi YouTube channel, Drishti IAS. For your convenience, the link for this video in Hindi has been provided in the description below.
Hello friends, my name is Vikas Divyakirti and I am one of the faculties of Drishti IAS, and I teach ethics, constitution and polity, society and justice, and few other topics like essay and all. So this is a series with the name of Concept Talk, and in this series what we are going to do is we'll discuss the concepts. Sometimes it will be the concepts of constitution, sometimes from the ethics paper, sometimes for essay or case studies or whatever, depending on the requirements. So in this first chapter or first episode of Concept Talk, we are taking a topic from ethics paper. As you know, in general studies mains examination in UPSC, IAS or civil service examination, paper 4 is named as Ethics, Integrity and Aptitude. And this paper requires understanding from various subjects like philosophy, sociology, psychology, public administration. And the intermingling of all these topics then becomes a paper of ethics. So today I am taking a concept that is ethics and morality, and generally speaking we believe ethics is morality and morality is ethics. But you will be surprised to know, or probably you must be knowing already, that in the UPPCS exam of 2018 mains exam, they have asked a question, what is the difference between ethics and morality? And then there is another part of the question, that is, what are the determinants of ethical decision making, or what are the determinants of ethical decision? So it means ethics and morality, which we believe to be similar, or at least we believe to be very close to each other, have some difference. So let us try to understand what is the difference. And before beginning the concept, I think we should start with some examples, because examples make the things very clear. In ethics paper, I would suggest you, whenever you write an answer, you must use some examples, daily life examples, or the examples which are happening around you. As soon as you quote an example with a theory, with a concept, the answer becomes very much authentic for the examiner, it becomes very much expressive for the examiner, and it translates into the marks you get. So let us take an example and then I'll come to the point, what is the difference between ethics and morality. Suppose you go to a private hospital, or not you, suppose there is a person and the name of the person is suppose A. A has a son or a daughter and he or she is ill, critically ill. And A is afraid that he will be losing his son, and then he comes to know that a surgery is required. And when he asks some people where from he should get the surgery done, so some of the friends of A tell him that for surgery there are two good hospitals, one is X hospital and one is Y hospital. X is a super specialty hospital, Y is not that advanced, but again Y is also a decent hospital, decently good hospital. Everybody says X is the best hospital and Y is the second best hospital. So naturally, because any parent wants that he or she should try his best to let their son or daughter survive, so naturally A is willing his son's surgery to be done in hospital X. So he goes to X and he telephonically takes counseling from both the hospitals beforehand. In hospital X, the cost of surgery is 10 lakh rupees. In hospital Y, the cost of surgery is, let us say, 2 lakh rupees. As far as the financial status of A is concerned, he is not very affluent, he is not very rich. He can spend some 1,000 rupees without any stress, but if he has to spend 10 lakh rupees, he has to sell his house or his farms or something else. For 2 lakh rupees, it is comparatively it is manageable, and he won't have to sell something. He will be able to manage from some borrowings and then he can pay off them later on. So A goes to hospital X because he will pay all the money if he gets a surety that the chances of survival of his son are better in hospital X. So he goes to hospital X. He has some money of advance to be paid there. And suppose there is a woman or a lady or a girl around the age of 25 years and her name is B and she is the head of counseling team or the head of admissions team in that hospital, which looks after all the patients coming for the surgeries and all. And suppose A talks to B, A goes to B and A asks her about everything. And suddenly, in a situation in that room, no one else is present, only B and A. A is an old man, his age is around 55 years and she is a young lady. And A says, A is a poor person and he looks like a poor person. And he discusses with B and says, you are just like my daughter. You are in the age of my daughter only. And beta, I'm going to pay all the money for my son's survival, but I want to ask you one thing honestly. Please tell me honestly. Just as you are talking to your father, tell me honestly. Should I really spend so much money, or I can have this surgery done without any fear at hospital Y, where the expense is only 20% of this amount? Now the situation in which this girl, this lady B is in, that is called the crisis of ethics and morality. Now she has two things in her mind. She has a dilemma, and this dilemma is called ethical dilemma, which is again a part of the syllabus of ethics paper 4. Now she has one responsibility towards the hospital which pays her, the hospital which has invested a lot of money, which has kept a lot of people to serve them, and every month they pay them salaries, allowances, and a lot of other things, other facilities. They have also given her training, and a part of her training, a part of her code of conduct, a part of her code of ethics is that whenever someone asks you about your hospital, you have to tell that your hospital is the best place. So as far as the professional ethics or the professional code of conduct is concerned, she is supposed to say, "Ki uncle, you need not worry, you are at the best place, I guarantee you, and hospital Y doesn't stand anywhere around us, so be sure, just pay your money and your son will be alright." This is what is supposed to be her answer as an employee of the hospital who is taking money, who is getting salary from the hospital. But other than being a hospital staff, she is also a human being. And being a human being, she has some moral responsibilities towards any member of the society, even maybe sometimes to the animals or even to the trees. And when A talks to her, A is like crying, sort of crying. He's very poor. And then B feels that she should not tell a lie. She should speak truth. And she can say, "Uncle, nobody is listening to us. Please don't tell anyone that I have given this advice to you. Just go to hospital Y. And the quality is almost similar. We have a brand name, but the quality is almost similar. And because the surgery that your son is undergoing is a very simple surgery, and you should not worry for that. Even in hospital Y, the chances of survival, the chances of getting okay are almost equal to hospital X. And had I been in your place, I would have preferred to go to hospital Y. But uncle, this is the question of my job. Please don't tell that I have given this advice to you." This is another option that she can choose. Now, what should she choose? Just think that you are at her place and you are supposed to give an answer. What would you do? I'm not interested in knowing what exactly would you do. I am interested in telling you that this dilemma this girl is facing, or you would be facing, or I would be facing in that situation, is the dilemma between ethics and morality. How? Okay, I'll tell you how, but before that, let us take one more example. The example is, suppose there is a public prosecutor who is looking into a case of a criminal case in which there is a heinous crime, and the accused does not have financial powers, and the accused does not have financial ability to hire a lawyer or an advocate. And so, as the policy of our state is, the lawyer has been provided by the government, and a public prosecutor is giving his services to the accused, who is accused of maybe committing a rape. Now, this lawyer is helping him, as the code of conduct of advocates say, that when you take a case, you are supposed to give best services to him. You have to give best arguments in the court to save him, and that is a part of his ethical responsibilities. And that is what he is doing. Now, after 4 or 5 days of the hearings of the trial, the person against whom the act was done, the victim comes to the court, and she is in a very bad condition of health. She comes to the witness box and gives her witness. And when she gives her witness, it is very much evident to anybody that she is speaking truth. She is weeping, she is crying when recalling all the incidents. And when she has told everything, the judge asks this prosecutor, not the prosecutor, that would not be the right word, because at this time he is defending the accused. He is not the prosecutor, he is the lawyer of the accused. And the court asks him to, if he wishes to do that, he can cross-question the victim, so that the accused get equal chances to be heard and equal chances to get saved. Now, this lawyer has 2-3 important questions, and he, from the experience he has gained so far, he knows very well that if he will ask these 3 questions from the victim, there are chances that victim will not be able to answer properly, and the case will tilt towards the accused or his client to say. But he has a moral dilemma. He has an ethical dilemma. Because from the inner sense, from the conscience, he believes that the girl is speaking truth, and his client is a criminal. And his conscience say that he should not save the criminal, he should be against the criminal. But his code of conduct, being a lawyer, it says that he has to do everything within the legal framework to save his client. Now, should he ask very difficult questions which only he knows? If he doesn't ask the questions, even his client would not be able to know whether something has been left or not. If he asks the question, only then the question comes that his client or the accused comes to know that these are very important questions. This is a dilemma only within the lawyer's mind. If he asks difficult questions from the girl, he is right as per his ethics. And if he avoids asking those questions, if he leaves those questions, he is right from his morality point of view. And this is the clash between ethics and morality. Now, from these 2 examples, I believe you must have some idea what I am trying to say about these 2 concepts. Let us try to understand in the language of concepts only how we can understand the difference between these 2. So, when we have to understand the difference, first of all, we must be able to understand the exact meaning of the terms which we are using. We have 2 terms, one is ethics and one is morality. See, morality has single meaning, and single meaning concept means we know what morality is. Morality is doing right things, doing appropriate things, doing or taking right decisions. That is called morality. But ethics, as far as concerned, ethics has two meanings. And when we have to deal with a concept having two meanings, we should understand meaning one, meaning two. And then relationship of the other concept in meaning one and in meaning two. This is the way how we can proceed while understanding the difference between two concepts. So first of all, what is the first meaning of ethics? In first sense, ethics is a discipline. What discipline? Discipline means a branch of study. You must have heard that there is a very famous subject called philosophy. Philosophy is known to be the mother of all sciences, and that's true also. In philosophy, there are many branches. Some people say philosophy has 3 branches. Some people say philosophy has 10 branches. So, even if we take 3 branches, one of those branches is called ethics. In this meaning, ethics is a subject or a part of the subject philosophy in which we study what morality is, in which we study what should be the way of living the life, what should be the purpose of life. And when we have decided our purpose of life, like in Indian philosophy we say dharma, arth, kam and moksha, these are the purposes of life. So what is the purpose of life and what is the right way to attain those purposes of life? This branch is called ethics, and this is a part of philosophy. So in the first meaning, ethics is a discipline. And if I have to take the second meaning of ethics, then I would say, in the second meaning of ethics, ethics is nothing but it's very similar to morality, like I tell you 2 examples. In philosophy, in linguistics, whenever you come across 2 concepts which are very similar, just try to use them in the sentences. And when you use in the sentences, you will find that you have got the answer. I can give you some examples of that, but let us start from here only. I will say 2 sentences. You tell me, is there any difference, or we can use them interchangeably? We can use them in the place of the other example. Like if I say, ethically, I should not do this. This is a sentence. And then I say, morally, I should not do this. Now you will say, it's sort of same meaning. And even I think yes. In many sentences, you can use the word ethically and morally interchangeably. And if that is possible, it means these 2 words do have at least some level of synonymity. Synonymity, you know, the being synonyms. In philosophy or in language, when we say these 2 words are synonyms, what exactly we want to say is that not in the 100% situations, but in some situations, these words can be interchangeable. These words can be replaceable. These words can be replaced by each other. In languages, there are no 2 words which can be replaced by each other in all possible situations, because the rule of language is, if 2 words are exactly same, then there should not be 2 words, there should be only 1 word. If there is the second word, if the second word is in existence, there should be a reason of existence, and it means at least there should be a context, in which context the first word is not able to produce the meaning that exactly the second word is producing in that very situation. So, in this sense, I can say, in the second meaning, ethics is almost what we say morality, because we can use these words almost interchangeably, like I have given the example. It is ethical to be disciplined. It is moral to be disciplined. It is ethical to be honest. It is moral to be honest. It is unethical to be dishonest. It is immoral to be dishonest. In all 3 sentences, we have used these 2 words almost interchangeably. So, now, we have understood 2 things. 1, ethics has 2 meanings. Morality has primarily one meaning. And now if we have to decide what the relationship is in these two words, we'll make a chart and finalize the relationship between these two. 1. If ethics is a discipline, so in the first meaning we are saying that ethics is a discipline or a subject which deals with all the moral questions. If this is the situation, then I would say the relationship would be like this. How? Ethics is the subject and morality is the content which the subject ethics discusses. In this discipline, we have to discuss what is moral, what is immoral, and not all the things are moral or immoral. There is third concept as well, which is known as non-moral. So ethics is a subject in which we study the conduct of human being, which is either moral or immoral or non-moral. I know you must be thinking, what is non-moral? You must have heard moral and immoral, but not the non-moral. Moral is what is ethical, like being honest is being moral. Immoral is doing something against the morality, something against the ethics. For example, in a situation when someone is dying and he or she wants you to help him or her, at that time, instead of helping him or her, if you don't help him, or if you rather do something against him, then this is called immoral. So this is immoral. Something which is neither moral nor immoral is called non-moral. We do a lot of things, like if you are seeing this video, this is neither moral nor immoral. So this is something which morality does not cover. This is not a question of morality. If you are drinking a glass of water, this is neither moral nor immoral. If you are studying a book, if you are reading a novel, if you are not doing something which is good for the society or bad for the society, that is neither moral nor immoral. And all those things are called non-moral. So, in first meaning, if they ask you what is the difference between ethics and morality, you have to say, in the first meaning, ethics is the subject and morality is the content of that subject, what we have to study in that subject. This is the first meaning, but I doubt UPSC or UPPCS is asking in this sense. They are generally asking in the other sense. And what is the other sense? I already told you that the word ethics has two senses and we'll have to understand the concept in both the senses. So, if we take the second meaning of ethics, in this sense, ethics is to some extent equal to morality. And I have already given you various examples to make you understand how this happens. This is ethically good. This is morally good. These are the examples where we can see ethics and morality are the synonyms. But they are not the exact synonyms. And I already told you, in philosophy, in linguistics, there are no two words which are complete synonyms. They are always incomplete or partial synonyms. The relationship between these two would be like this. This is the exact relationship. How? In this sense, I would say, if this is ethics and if this is morality, then we have to believe that the middle circle is ethics plus morality. So for making this concept clear, we need to have three kinds of example. One, in which something is ethical but not moral. Second, which is moral but not ethical. And third, we need to have certain examples which are ethical as well as moral acts or conducts. If we have three kinds of examples with us, then we will be able to make this concept clearer. So I start with some concepts or Rather, I took two examples in the beginning. We can take some more examples to understand this. Actually, from the very first two examples, what I wanted to make you understand is ethics has something external part and morality is something internal part. In ethics and in morality, if the pressure is coming from external sources, then this is called ethics. And if the pressure is coming from the internal source, and that is your conscience. So if your conscience pressurizes you to do something right, then this is a question of morality. And external generally means in the professional world, in the formal world. So where you work, the profession you have chosen, or the society you live in the society also, in the sense of society also we use this word. So if there is a pressure of formal organization, your profession or your society, and this pressure comes in the sense of rules and regulations, rules of conduct, or the laws, or the regulations, or the bylaws, or some other form of rules and regulations, then this is ethics. One more example. Like you are working in a hospital, for the staff of the hospital there is a written code of conduct. This is same for everybody. This is not specially for you or for someone else. So when we are talking about ethics, it has to have objectivity. And you know what objectivity is? Objectivity has various meanings, but the very basic meaning of objectivity is that objectivity means which is same for all, which has no differences for different people. That is called objectivity. But when we come about morality, when we talk about morality, morality becomes subjective. And subjective means it can be different for me, it can be different for you. And when we have differences in our approaches towards doing something right or appropriate, then this is a question of our morality. For example, in our country, non-vegetarianism is allowed, at least except few animals or birds, it is allowed. But someone can say that I feel this is immoral. I won't eat any animal or bird because my conscience does not allow this. But someone else can say, because our constitution, because the laws of the land allow me, so I will eat non-vegetarian food, and this is not against my ethical systems. So in ethics, a kind of objectivity is always there. In morality, a kind of subjectivity is always there. And this is the major difference. When you don't follow ethics, there can be a punishment. But when you don't follow morality, you generally go through a guilt feeling, and that guilt feeling pressurizes you not to do the same thing again. So, in nutshell, ethics is the morality of the organization, of the society, of the formal setups, which is external to us, which is objective for all the people which are following that, and which is in some sense punishable if we don't follow that. Whereas morality is internal, it comes from the conscience, it can be subjective or different for different people. And if we don't follow the morality, we are going to have some kind of guilt feeling. This is the exact sense of morality. Now, the final question is, what is the relationship between these two, and what is the possibility of there being one and possibility of there being in contrasting situations? There can be three situations, rather two situations. There is one situation when ethics and morality are same. When your professional or social obligations and your personal approach towards those obligations do have a sync, do have a synchronization, do have a positive impact on each other, do have a consent with each other. In that situation, we would say ethics and morality are synonyms. For example, in the examples we had already taken, we can again come there. Suppose the girl working in the hospital X is working in the hospital Y, and she is convinced, internally convinced, that she is working in the best hospital, which is not only good as far as the doctors and medical staff and medical equipments are concerned, but also ethically good, morally good. It takes less fee from the patients and takes care about them, and she feels very good that I am working in a very good workplace. And suppose at that time someone asks him in person, "Ki beta, you are in the age of my daughter or my son. Please tell me honestly, should I get my son or daughter admitted in this hospital or not?" She would happily say, "Yes, uncle, don't worry, I am with you. I am sure you are taking the right decision." And she won't have any guilt feeling while saying so. When you are doing something which is right from the perspective of your organization or profession or society, and at the same time you also believe you are doing right, you are ethical as well as moral, there is neither any disciplinary action going to against you, nor you will be having a guilt feeling. And in any such situation, you can say ethics and morality are the same things. But in some situations, ethics and morality contradict. They do contradict with each other. I gave you two examples. I'll give you one more example. Let us see. Suppose there is a doctor and he looks into the difficult cases or the traumatic cases. One day, his hospital staff calls him in night at 3 o'clock. "Sir, there is some accident, please come as early as possible." He goes to the hospital and he finds there is a man of around 60 years of age. He was driving a car and the car got burnt. It was in the fire. All other passengers of the car somehow managed to go out, but he couldn't get out of the car. And he is around 90-95% burnt. And all the members are there. They are safe. They got out of the car in time and they didn't have more injuries and they are almost in normal situation. And this person is crying because the burning sensation is not allowing him to be normal. And when you, as the senior most doctor or as the chief medical officer of the hospital, reach there, he asks you, he requests you that I know I won't be able to survive. I know I will be able to survive not more than 3 to 4 hours. But the pain I am going through is unbearable and I request you to please do something to kill me as soon as possible. And you are in a different situation. Then you look at other doctors. They also silently support his wish. Then you look at the family members, even his wife, his children. And even the wife is crying and saying that I cannot see him in such conditions. If you can save him, when you are with his wife outside, not in front of that patient, she asks you, if there is even a decimal 0.1% chance of his saving, please try to save him. But if there are no chances at all, I cannot see him having so much pain. The children also say the same thing. I cannot say our Papa to have such situation. So if you can't save him, please kill him so that he can die silently, peacefully. Now you are in the midst of a crisis, of an ethical dilemma. The law of the land the Indian Constitution, Article 21, interpretations of Article 21, Section 309 IPC and the interpretations thereof, and the Code of Conduct for all the doctors, all that say that a doctor will not kill any patient and will not let him die until it becomes impossible for him to survive him. So till the time a patient can survive, the doctor has the moral responsibility, ethical responsibility to let him live. This is the code of conduct. But in this situation, this person is crying so much and you feel that had you been in his situation, you would also have asked for such wish, please kill me. This kind of request you would have made. In such situation, if you go by the rules of the hospital or the constitution or the law, you are ethical. But your mind says, your heart says, your conscience says that a person should get the right of dignified death. One should have the right to live with dignity and also the right to die with dignity. And you know he won't survive more than 3 to 4 hours. And when it is sure that he won't be able to survive, then why not to kill him easily without pain? If you help him in killing him, your conscience will be happy. You won't have a sense of guilt feeling. But you will have a sense of ethical misconduct. And if you go by the rules and regulations and code of conduct, you will be happy that you have followed the procedures, you have followed the rules. But your conscience will not let you live peacefully. It will cry when you will be alone. And this is called the dilemma, ethical dilemma. Ethical dilemma has various meanings, but in one sense, ethical dilemma is always there when your professional ethics and your personal ethics do contradict with each other. So in this sense, if I have to sum up, and if the question is in front of you, what is the difference between ethics and morality? So what will be the right answer? I'll also tell you the answer, formatting of the answer. You just have to write 3 paragraphs. Number 1, ethics and morality are generally understood to be similar words, but they have differences when we see examples and when we see them in specific situations. Number 2, ethics has 2 meanings, and if we need to understand the difference between ethics and morality, we should first understand in which meaning of ethics we are talking or discussing. In the first meaning, ethics is a discipline. In the second meaning, ethics is doing something which is morally appropriate. Now, para 3 or maybe the extension of 2. In the first sense, if ethics is the subject or the discipline, morality is its content. In this sense, morality is a part of ethics because ethics deals with moral, immoral and non-moral actions and conducts. And then you have to make the diagram that there is circle in the circle, set, subset relationship. Then the next paragraph. In the second sense, ethics is very much similar to morality because there are many sentences wherein we can use these 2 words interchangeably, like it is ethical to be honest or it is moral to be honest. But these 2 words are incomplete or partial synonyms. There are situations when these words not only differ, they become contrary to each other. And then you will say the difference between ethics and morality is this: ethics, morality, table. This is objective, this is subjective, this is external, this is internal. This creates the condition of punishment, this creates the condition of guilt feeling and all. And finally, always give the examples, always make the diagrams, and then you make this diagram. when I do something which is professionally or organizationally or socially correct, but not correct according to my conscience, this is being ethical but not moral. When I do something right as per my conscience but wrong as per the society or organization or any other legal or code of conduct norms, then I am moral but not ethical. And when I do something which is right from the point of view of my organization or my profession or my society, as well as that is exactly right as per my opinion, my subjective opinion, my conscience, my true self, at that time I am ethical plus moral. So this is the way you should understand ethics or any subject. In civil services, you are not supposed to mug up the things. You have to be a very smart human being. You have to understand the words exactly, concepts exactly, and then when you are able to play with the concepts with good examples, then it means your preparation is good. And if you write the same preparation with very good examples and good diagrams, there is no reason you don't get very good marks. So I think in the first episode of this concept talk, I have been able to make you understand the difference between ethics and morality. If you like this discussion, just in the comment box, please write some more words which you need to understand, which you wish to understand. I'll come again and again with some topics of ethics, some of constitution and some of social justice. Thanks a lot. See you again. Goodbye.